Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I just came back from a lovely, although very short, photo walk with my gorgeous OM-3, and I truly enjoyed my walk, but it got me thinking that there must be some alternative to OM-3 that will be more affordable, more accessible to many people who just want to shoot photographs. And I think, and for those who know me a bit and know my cameras, you probably have the same idea, I've got a cheaper, way cheaper alternative for OM-3. So OM-3, if you buy it with a kit lens, it comes with this gorgeous 12 to 45 lens. I absolutely love this lens. It's very sharp, it's very light, it's reliable, fantastic lens. But we've got a more or less standard zoom lens. What is charming about OM-3, it's its retro design, the way it looks, how tactile it is, that we have here these two clicky, beautiful dials that we have here, our clicky mode dial, that here we've got this traditional Olympus switch, and it's all very charming, very retro and nice. So the camera that I thought of was naturally OM-10 Mark II. And why Mark II? Because part of the charm of OM-3 is its build quality, the fact that it's made of metal, that it doesn't feel cheap in the hand, that it feels sturdy, that it feels really solid. And the same feeling, but in a smaller package, OM-10 gives, because it's the last OM-10 that was built of metal or of magnesium alloy, and it really feels very solid in the hand. It has very similar two clicky dials here, so that it's a very similar tactile feeling, as you can see. Also, it has the mode dial over here, just like OM-3 does, and this a bit quirky switch that is here. And as you can see, you can get it in the kit with this rather lovely pancake lens, which is tiny, which has almost identical range as the Pro lens here. Of course, it will not be as sharp as this one, and it has variable aperture, but it does not matter, because if it is as a kit, it comes way cheaper than OM-3. So we've got the tactile feeling that is quite similar to OM-3. The camera is a bit lighter, of course, it is smaller, but the tactile feeling remains. As you can see here on OM-3, on the mode dial, we've got 5 custom modes. And on OM-10, we have 0 custom modes. But because it's OM-10 Mark II, we can actually program these modes like auto, like art, like scenery, like collage. We can program them to be our custom modes. So we only have one less custom mode than we have on the OM-3. What is more, we can add some color profiles to these custom modes, not as conveniently as in OM-3, because we don't have this gorgeous color wheel or color dial, but it is doable. I will link in the description videos that explain how to do it, and also how to program this dial to your custom dials. Oh, forgive me. Because this is a really nice and useful feature in this camera that is not talked about too much. What does OM-3 also have? It does have the swivel screen, the very convenient especially for video screen. And it's, of course, you can touch it and it works like that. OM-10 does not have a swivel screen, but it has this screen that can fold like that, which is actually more convenient when we are shooting, for instance, at the street, because it can be less or more conspicuous. Okay, we are not as visible. I forgot what the word conspicuous means. We are less visible when we do it this way. We can shoot from the hip without being easily spotted, and for everyday use, this type of screen, not for video, but for photography, is actually more convenient. So we've got a touch screen. We can have touch focus, as you can see, just like we have in OM-3. So this is a great solution too, in a very tiny and cheap package. There is also one thing that EM10 Mark II has that OM3 does not have, and that is a lovely flash. And this flash works, and it works perfectly fine. So that's a bonus which we do not get in OM3. Of course, there will be some things that will be missing in this camera. The first huge difference between this camera and this camera will be the autofocus. Here, the autofocus and subject detection modes, it works brilliantly. I absolutely love how it works. Here, we cannot count on any subject detection. It has eye detection, but I wouldn't count on it too much. This is a different way of focusing. However, if we just use single point autofocus, the autofocus is absolutely fine. It's fast, it's reliable. It just requires a little bit more practice on our side and a little bit less reliance on the camera itself. So that's one huge change. Another difference that is significant will be this color wheel, or this color wheel dial, whatever we call it. This is the difference that can be minimized, let's say, by different settings that we have in this little camera, and how to create different color profiles. I will link some videos also in the description of this video, because you can also create your own color profiles in this camera. The black and white works here perfectly well. We can tweak it. We can also add color filters to it. Great. There is also a difference in megapixels, because here we've got 20, here we've got only 16, but this only 16 is hanging as a very big print on my wall from one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken with EM10 Mark II, and there's no problem with that. It really does not show. It's just what we are told we need to have. If you don't shoot professionally, and to be honest, if you're looking at this range of cameras, I'm quite sure you're not shooting professionally, this camera is a pure joy to use. And of course, there will be less computational stuff in here. However, we still have live composite, we still have live bulb. So there are certain things that can be done, and you can even put your own panorama here, which you cannot do in OM-3. So this is the first version that I would strongly recommend. I got it super cheap on Polish version of eBay. So I got this set, this camera, and 2 lenses for $210. And I think it's a steal. It's an absolute steal. So that's €180. 2 lenses, camera, 2 batteries, original charger, and a small bag. So what's the other option that I would strongly recommend, or the other configuration of this camera? This is a zoom lens, and it's nice. And actually I bought this set for this zoom lens because I've always wanted to play with it, but I never felt it's worth just buying this lens. But what would be a fantastic combination would be putting this Lumix 25, which is cheap as chips when you buy it used. This one is quite battered. It doesn't look great anymore, but it takes great pictures still. The lens or the glass is impeccable. So this is super cheap alternative to a bit more expensive and way more expensive if you buy version 2, Olympus 25, which is a great lens and I love this lens. But you can have a prime lens for very cheap with inexpensive camera, fantastic set for streets. You can do portraits with it, you can blur the background. Great set. And the silver one looks pretty okay on this beautiful EM10 Mark II. So please I'll be selling this set because that was the idea of buying this whole set just for the pancake lens, and I will probably even make some money on it because it was the bargain I got was just unbelievable. But you can find bargains like that, and then it makes this set 1/10 of a price of this set. So that's a real steal and great bargain. So I strongly recommend this camera. I love my EM10. I was at some point thinking of selling it, but I've changed my mind. Oh, and there's another difference. The video. Of course, OM-3 has great video. But this whole episode, or this whole video, is actually filmed on my EM10. I mean, this one is also mine, but on the copy that I use normally. And to prove that, let me show you a little sneak peek, like behind the cameras, or however it's called. As you can see, this is the lifetime recording. You can see audio recording as I speak, and as you can see the video here. This is EM10 recording. Nothing else but EM10 recording. So it can record a video. Maybe not the class leading one. For sure not the one for commercial work. But good enough. Absolutely good enough. So please let me know in the comments what would be your alternative for the gorgeous and fantastic OM-3. But for a lot of money. So what will be your alternative? Mine, definitely EM10 Mark II. If we don't need autofocus speed, if we don't need all these bells and whistles of this camera, or if we simply can't afford it. Because there's no point of spending too much or going into debt for a camera if we can have something like that as cheap as chips. So please let me know in the comments what is your alternative, what you love shooting with, and see you in the next one. Bye.